Yo, it's Joe and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be checking out a video called The Downfall of Brian W. Foster. Now, this has been a thing that kind of, boy, I don't want to say came to light very recently because it's been a few months, but when I heard about this, I was shocked. Kick back, relax, and let's see what this gentleman has to say about this whole situation.
Today's video is not really a happy video. Honestly, part of me wonders if I should even really be talking about this in a video, but also part of me feels like it's kind of too important not to. So, with that, I'm gonna try to do my best to be respectful to all parties involved. So, join me today as we discuss the downfall of Brian W. Foster.
Yeah, this is like one of the reasons that I kind of wanted to wait to make a video on this. It's a very, very, very sensitive topic. I didn't want to go talking about it or hearing anything about it when it had initially been coming out. I felt like it was like a little too soon for me, but I do appreciate that this gentleman here did take the time to make this video. One, it happened because he probably knows a lot more than I would. But yeah, man, this is just a really crappy situation. When I first heard about this, I was like 100% just shocked and disgusted. I think that this caught everybody in the community by surprise. I did all the reactions to the main cast. There between the sheets interviews with this guy. Everything just seemed to be okay between him and everybody, especially Ashley. I even made a comment when I was looking at it like, "Oh, look at these lovebirds." And I guess you don't really know. You can never really tell sometimes.
Brian would work for the company until his departure on August 16th, 2021. The official statement from Critical Role wishing him luck on his future endeavors and thanking him for his time
Oh, so he left in 2021. I thought he was always. Wow, okay.
spent at the company. A kind of classic ambiguous PR statement with relatively no information. The lack of information surrounding Brian's leaving Critical Role is probably due to a NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Might have
Ooh, I need the Funko Pop a bow. I think I'm gonna have to purchase that. I'm looking that up after this ends.
the departure of Brian W. Foster began to also conjure images in the Critical Role community of another former player that ended up leaving Critical Role, Orion Akaba. The question began to permeate everyone. What
Oh, that makes sense. There's definitely some parallels between the way that they both departed. Wow, okay, yeah, yeah, that is true. I'd have been like, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right. Okay.
the man seemed to make a habit of picking fights with people online, whether over politics or those who critique Critical Role in a way that he didn't like, often engaging with smaller accounts.
I've all done that, but you can pay me $100 just cause. What the hell? Petty as hell. I will pay Brian $100 to not be condescending over fans being rightfully distressed over this whole situation. Haven't at all done that, but you can pay me $100 just cause. Sometimes you gotta QT or quote tweet to set an example to the others. Bro, what are you, like, what do you think this is? Yeah, she's a 22-year-old girl with 170 followers. This is the person you picked to make an example of. Sounds like an adult with a Twitter account to me. What's with the drink every time? Tweet wisely. You never know who might actually read them. Who do you think, who do you think you are, my guy? His response was like, ew. I understand that his whole thing, from what I understand, with the whole Between the Sheets interviews from that I've seen, is the whole drink thing at the end. So is that like his thing to put a drink in his, is it cheers? What is he? Anyways.
It seems that these things didn't really sit very well with the Critical Role team, having one of the faces of their brand behaving like this online and interacting with their fan base.
Like he's a supervillain or something. Like, what are we doing?
Foster, often whether intentional or not, would motivate his fan base to go online to attack whatever random person that he was arguing with. Not really a great look for Critical Role, a brand that goes above and
Love this
beyond to
intro.
curate their public image. Their company being a multi-million-dollar media franchise. Brian would part ways
As
with
they
Critical
should
Role
be.
on August. We begin to see some of the details and the tension that have been brewing between Foster and the Critical Role team. I'm still holding out on the hope that the ones in charge of that tabletop RPG fanbase would acknowledge, if not address, the toxic positivity of their fans. Brian replies, stating, "I tried my best for 6 years, but alas, the real higher powers that be are afraid to lose the toxic fans and their non-toxic merch money."
What the hell is toxic positivity? Can one of y'all explain that to me? Because I've never heard that before in my life.
A lot of the main issues that Brian had came with the way that he was engaging with some of the more toxic elements of the Critical Role fan base, but honestly, just a lot of just normal Critical Role fans in general. They do have a section within the fan base that is quite toxic. This is going to happen with any kind of media that has this type of a cult following when they get too big, but this is honestly a topic for another video.
There's toxicity, and then there's not. I'm not understanding the toxic positivity again. If one of y'all could just explain that one to me, because I don't get it.
The police issued an emergency protective order due to Foster having attempted to extort $150,000
What?
from Ashley, as well as a continued history of verbal abuse, long-standing substance abuse, and an unhinged mind.
Wow, bro. That is crazy. Oh my. Let's keep watching. Let's keep watching. Let's hear all of it.
The restraining
I'm gonna have some things to say though.
Foster reportedly locked Johnson out of their home, changing all of the passwords to their internet and to their Ring door camera, to anything that they had. As well, he had just a general history of domestic abuse, describing instances of broken objects, slamming doors, and constant verbal abuse. Normally, I wouldn't really feel comfortable covering a topic as sensitive as this, even if it is in reference to Critical Role, but having been in an abusive relationship myself, part of me felt like I had to talk about it. I can only imagine how tough it must be to not only have to go through all of this, but to also have your personal details and your personal life be online for everyone to see.
They're such public figures. They're very famous. Like to have all this kind of laid out there is pretty wild, man. It's tough. You're trying to escape the situation and handle it on your own. Meanwhile, you're having all of this information kind of just placed out for the world to see, for the world to make their own opinions on and maybe jump to their own conclusions. And I'm sure there was, unfortunately, harassment towards both Ashley and Brian. And I don't think that two wrongs make a right in that situation, so to speak. I'm not condoning harassment towards either of them. It just must be rough to try to handle something like that when the details are so public, you know? I feel so bad for Ashley though. I gotta say, she's the one I really feel bad for. But, you know, like I said, two wrongs don't necessarily make it right either.
No one should be subject to any form of abuse from their partner. And escaping this type of relationship is one of the hardest things that anyone can do. When you feel like you're just trapped and you can't escape, and that the person that you love and is supposed to be there and care for you is constantly acting like an antagonist towards you. And once again, my heart's thoughts and feelings go
Oh
out to
man.
Ashley Johnson and any one of you out there watching this right now who has suffered abuse at the hands of a partner. These people who we idolize, these people who we look up to and watch for entertainment, are just humans. They are just normal human beings after all.
Mm-hmm.
They suffer from the same problems, the same doubts, the same fears as we all do. You are not alone. There are people out there who love you and care about you and can
Mm-hmm.
relate to what you are going through. If you need someone to talk to, I highly encourage you to call the number on screen now. It is for the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
Gonna leave that up there for a little bit longer. I think that we all have known someone, if you haven't been in a situation like this yourself, I think we all have known someone who has been in a situation like this. And it's terrible, but as he said, man, there's people out there that love you, that care about you. Um, Nobody deserves to be treated that way. So call this number if you need it, you know, get the help that you need. You could try to go through it alone, but sometimes you need a little bit of help. Sometimes you need a little bit of assistance, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'd like to leave you with a quote from my mother, who once told me, "The only people who get upset about you setting boundaries are those who were benefiting from you having none."
Mm. So that was my reaction to this video. Make sure you give it a like, his video a like. If you made it this far in mine, leave a like. I'm about to give my thoughts if you're interested. Thank you for watching. If you don't want to see my thoughts, if you're interested, here we go. As I stated before, it's very difficult for people in a controlling situation like that, where someone is abusive like that, or just controlling in that way, to kind of maneuver your way out of it. Because at that point, you're dependent on them for everything. She, at that point, is dependent on him giving her access to the house, to the car, to these different things. And it creates a situation where you're dependent on your abuser to provide the basic necessities that you need throughout your day-to-day life. And at that point, you're more inclined to listen, to obey whatever sort of outlandish things that this person may want of you, or not ask of you, demand of you. It's sad, man. It's sad. I'm so happy that she was able to get out of that situation though. Maybe in a way, her being such a public figure and him being such a public figure helped to kind of shine more of a light on this situation and allowed her to get the help that she needed. So at least there's a sort of a silver lining there, even though, like I said, it does suck to have something like this so public. If there was that positive factor in having all of this come to light, not everybody has that positive factor. If you or somebody you know is going through something like that, you should honestly do your best to try to get some help. You know, there's people out there that care about you, and nobody deserves to go through that. I'm shocked. Extorting $150,000, verbally abusive, controlling. I truly would have never thought that Brian would have been capable of something like that. And like I said, just based off of the interactions I've seen with him and the cast of Critical Role during his time there, I did not get the vibe that that I thought I would get from someone who was capable of something like that. At the end of the day, at this point in time, it's safe to assume that things are squared away a little bit more. Ashley's safe from this uh, person, from Brian, and everyone is better for it. Yeah, that's just sad, man. I did not know it was that deep at all. Anyways, what did you guys think about this whole situation? Do not harass anybody, okay? Don't harass anybody. Don't do it. You're you're not doing anybody a favor at that point. Give this gentleman a like. Check out his video. I'll leave a link in the description because he did a phenomenal job of explaining things and breaking things down. And yeah, wow, crazy video. Thank you for watching. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night. Leave your thoughts. If there's anything I missed or anything you want to let me know about, you let me know. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.